Hey, what's up guys? My name is Jacob and today I'm going to show you guys how to do a relatively simple dialogue system. As you can see, it prints out text automatically. It even has this little go up and come up and go down animation, if that's what you want to call it. I don't know exactly what you'd call the animation, but I'm going to show you guys how I did this. It's a little bit, I refer to it as simple, but there are some things that are complicated, but overall it's simple, but you're going to have a little bit more advanced knowledge of blueprinting if you would like to follow along, or, make this yourself. And my mouse disappeared, so I don't know why, but it did. Anyway, so here it is. You have the class. This is basically just some expose on spawns. I'm going to show you guys how to make a function, and then you might be wondering what this is. Don't worry about it right now. I'm going to show you. But basically, it's if you want to call an event during your dialogue for whatever reason, like maybe you want the music to change during the dialogue, or maybe a door to open or something. And then you have autoplay, which basically it automatically prints out, or you can have it where the player has to press X or Enter or whatever. I'll go over that. Speed override. I don't exactly remember what this is for. It's for how quickly the text prints out. So it's just override because for right now it's at 0 because if you want to override it you can. I'm not sure if I'm going to include that, but fast forward length, that's basically for when autoplay is turned off, how fast how far along the text prints out before you want to let them fast forward or whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to need a struct. So this is the struct. Ignore these two, those are for testing. But anyway, we're going to have a struct. We're not going to have all these settings, but we're going to have some of them because some of them are pointless. And this is basically an updated version from the many times I've done this. So I'm basically doing this from the top of my head. I'll go ahead and leave that project open. But in case I have to look back. But like I said, I've done this a bunch of times, so I'm pretty sure I won't have to look back. But anyway, I have a 2D side scroller template, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing, let's make a folder, and we will call this, I have no idea, but I guess dialogue. I'll just name it dialogue, and I think I misspelled that. Did I misspell that? Yes, I did. Dialogue, I guess, just dialogue. Oops. And I apologize for typing really slowly. That's just, and it kind of seems like my computer is lagging a little bit. That is really strange. Usually it doesn't when I record, but it's going to get on my nerves. Anyway, I'm going to make a color like I usually do. And there we go. Open it up. Can't tell if it's open. But anyway, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a widget blueprint. Simple enough. And we are also going to call this dialogue. And I keep wanting to spell dialogue wrong. Dialogue, man, I still feel like I misspelled this. I don't know why. I've been getting that way lately, where I feel like I'm misspelling everything, even if I'm not. But anyway, dialogue, widget. And really quickly, I need to set a timer, so that way I'm not doing this too long. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm going to try and keep this, hopefully I can do this in 30 minutes, so I might be going a little bit quickly because my other tutorial was like, almost 2 hours, which is just insane. But anyway, I'm going to rename this canvas panel to just root, and we're going to add another canvas panel. Also, I don't know if I went over, but quickly, as you can see, it has the, a picture, the 32x32, that was just a test sprite I had. And then the name, and it froze or something. Oh, okay, I know why. I had it autoplay turned off, so that's why that scared me for a second there. But anyway, so yeah, sorry if I'm kind of rushing, but like I said, I'm still very new to this. What we need is a canvas panel slot. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put this in here. Also, I'm gonna have this set up so that we can reposition this to be for the one I did. I had it all over the place, but that's gonna take too long to set up. So I'll just have 2 spots, the bottom and the top. Depending on where you want to place the dialogue. So I'm going to name this, if it would let me, what should I name this? I guess just main box. Main box. And you're going to see why we're going to want to do this as a canvas panel. So let's go ahead. We will set this up. I'll center it. Let's see, alignment. We'll also set this up 5. There we go. Well, that's kind of weird. I'll set it back. I don't know why it's doing that, but oh, because I have the position. That's why. Okay. So go ahead. We'll align this, and again, I feel like I'm going a little too quick, but bear with me. Hopefully, you can always rewind, or if you have any questions, you can just leave a comment. I can try and answer it. But sometimes YouTube won't let me respond to comments for some reason. Go ahead. We'll make it about here. I think that should be good. Now, what we're going to need is a background. I'm just going to do a plain black background, maybe a little gray. So we need a image, I believe. I'll go ahead. We're going to fill this up. We're also going to set the 0 to -1, so that way it's behind everything. And I believe I already set that. Yes, I did. Go ahead. We'll make this 0 everything out. And really quickly, this doesn't need to be a variable, so we're going to check that. We'll just name this background. Hopefully that's spelled correctly. I'm not the best speller, to be honest with you. But, okay. Make this a little grayish, like that. With some alpha, maybe 0.8. Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay. Now compile and save in case it crashes. And, okay, image. I'm doing this from the top of my head. This is another image, and we're just going to call, what should we call this? I guess just, oh my god, man, I cannot spell. Just picture. And we will size this up a little bit. I don't really think the size matters that much for, tutorial sake. I mean, I do this a lot better. But no, actually, I'll just name this player image. Oops, hit the wrong keys. And it does need to be variable. Okay, that's good. Now, probably gonna mess around with this a little bit. You know what? The thing is, I might not have any test images I can use here. Well, I'll worry about that later. But anyway, so we have that. We also are going to need a text box, or just text, I guess. We're going to call this name, because that's literally what it is. Also going to set this to be name. That check size to content, justification. I think that's good. I think that's about it. I'm, trying to do this from the top of my head. I don't really want to cheat and look back, but I mean, I've done this so many times, I should know how to do this. But we're going to add another one, and we're going to call this, well, actually, I think we should center this. Center this up, alignment, and we will just call this text box, because that's basically what it is. And this is basically for the dialogue. This might be a little sloppy. I'm trying to make sure I have this as close as I can get it, or as straight as I can get it. Now you're gonna want this to be pretty big, but not too big, so it kind of hangs out. We're also going to set the size, if I can find it. Okay, there it is. I'm thinking 20. And then I'm also going to change the font to be whatever this, no, maybe not that one. Maybe light? Yeah, I think I'll go with light. And I think that will do. And also, let's make sure these are variables. These need to be variables, very important. But yeah, I think that's literally everything for right now. I'm going to go ahead and just leave this in the center for right now. I will fix that later, but bear with me. Okay, so what we need to do is we're going to delete these. Now we're going to need to add some variables. They're basically going to be the expose and spawn. So the very first thing I'm going to have is autoplay. Oops. Autoplay. And this is going to need to be editable and expose on spawn. And also I'm going to give it a category of spawn. Basically, I just categorize this. Anything that I'm going to have exposed on spawn, I always like put it there. But yeah, so really quickly, let me go here and press P, but that's not going to work. Again, play. And we will create a dialog box, or well, a widget actually, whoops. Create widget, yeah, and I again have to apologize for, being very sloppy with my videos. I'm sorry about that, but okay, so add to viewports, and if we test this out, there we go. That's a bit small, I might want to adjust that later, but anyway, so we have expose on spawn. What are those other ones I need? Okay, also, I'm going to need, I think I named it dialog name, I believe that's what I named it. Yeah, I think so. But it also needs to be exposed on spawn. And we're going to set this to be a name, and you're going to find out why in a minute. But actually, we can do it now. Just let me give this a category of spawn, and there we go. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to add, well, first we need to make a struct. I was going to say a data table, which is basically what this variable is for. Let me refresh this really quickly. Whoops. By the way, I did not know you could do that. That's pretty cool. You can just type, and then it shows up. Type what you're looking for, and it shows up. I did not know you could do that. Okay, so we're going to need to make a struct. Blueprint struct, and we're going to actually need to make two structs. But this first one is going to be just, I guess, dialog structs. No, I'm not very good at naming things, but okay. So the first thing we're going to need is, now there's something I got to tell you. We have to basically fill this all out before we continue. If I forget something, then it might cause problems, basically compile errors. So hopefully I don't forget, but I'm going to cheat even though I said I wasn't. Just take a quick look at how I set it up. Let's see here. I think really quickly. Okay. Now I remember. We're also going to have to make a few two enumerations. So if you're unfamiliar with that, you'll get a crash course, I guess. So name, and then what will this be? I guess just dialogue, naming everything dialogue. Jeez. Yeah, it's also going to need to be a text. And I'm sorry if I'm not speaking clearly and talking really fast, but like I said, I'm trying to keep this as short as possible. But because I don't think people like long videos. But yeah, anyway, I cannot speak. How embarrassing. Name this color, text color, I guess. Text with a T, color, and we're going to need to make this, I think it's just color. Let me see. Yeah, I guess just color. And I'm going to default this to be white. It is lagging, but that's not too big of a deal. Okay, so color. What is next? Okay, also going to need, I have it as if you paid attention, it's a sprite, but I'm going to use a texture 2D because my game, whoops, so my game, oh my god, no, okay, never mind. Anyway, my game, I really don't have any texture 2Ds. They're pretty much just all sprites because it's a 2D game, classic 2D game. So We're going to need texture 2D. Oops. Texture 2D, if I can find it. Here it is. Okay. And, okay, so it does, there are some in here that we can use. Okay, good. So that's good. Well, for right now, I'll leave it blank, but texture 2D, what else? What else? Okay. We need a Boolean for call event, and you might be a little confused, or not really know what this is. Just go ahead, put it in if you plan on, having events called during your dialogue. If you don't, then you don't have to include it. But, I would recommend you do it. But anyway. I believe, yeah, that's pretty much it for right now. Really quickly, we're going to need to make a enumeration. I'm going to call this, I guess, animation type, maybe. Oops, with a underscore in between there, because for some reason you can't do a space. It would really be nice if they'd update that. But enu. So animation, and I'm only going to show you 2 animations. The dialog box that I set up, it has a few, but I'm only going to show you 2. So we'll just have this just up, just something up and down. That's basically it. Just 2 animations options. If you want to add more, you can go ahead. I'm going to show you how to do that, but there's one more struct or enumeration we're going to need to make, and it's going to need to be called, hold on a second, give me a text message, position. Oops, I keep doing that. Jeez. Position, I guess just, And again, you might be wondering what this is for. Don't worry, go ahead and just add it. I'm only going to do 2. Just, oops, top center, and then, whoops, to center. It should be top center. Whoops, top center and bottom center. There we go. So basically, I'm going to have the dialog, because you know how it's in the center? I'm thinking I should do one more. Screw it, I'll go ahead and I'll do it. I closed it. So we'll go ahead, we'll do one more, and we'll just call this center. And I will put this in the middle. And there we go. Okay. Check my task manager, because I have a feeling there's an unwanted process going on in the background. But besides that, where are we on time? Let me see. 14 minutes already, and we haven't even gotten into the nitty-gritty yet. So animation. Okay, so a few more. Again, sorry, I thought I could do this without looking back, but apparently I do. But anyway, go ahead and make a struct. Or you know what? No, actually, I'm going to set this up a little bit differently now that I think about it. I think this is about it. I'm going to check one last time. Let's see here. Thinking I should put this on the other monitor. So that way this isn't as embarrassing. But okay. Yep, that looks like that's it. And you might, you see these other options, but I'm going to put that in another struct. So right now, really quickly, I'm going to actually name this, well, no, we'll leave it. But anyway, we're going to need to make another struct, one more struct. I think this is about the last thing we're going to need to make. Then we can actually get into the scripting, quote-unquote scripting, blueprint scripting. That wasn't obvious. So we're just going to call this main, dialog, and struct. And this is basically what we're going to build our data table off. So we're going to go ahead and add 2 more. This is going to be a Play speed. Actually, one more thing now that I think about it, we are going to need one more variable, and this is going to be animation play speed, and I'm going to default this to be 1. Whoops, not 10. 1. Geez, I really cannot type. And I hope I'm spelling everything correctly. Once again, I'm not a great speller, so kind of embarrassing, but whatever. Not like this is going to get that many views anyway. So play speed, delay on next, and let me capitalize that because it's going to drive me nuts. What this is basically when you have it on autoplay, how long it's going to wait, how long it's going to, like, you know, after it finishes printing out the text and everything, how long it's going to wait until it goes on to the next text information, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, one last thing. Can fast forward. So fast forward. Is that one word or two? I don't know. Whatever. Fast forward. Okay. And I believe that is about it. Play speed. We will set this to be, I guess 0.01 for right now. And it's a low value, but you're gonna see why in a minute, because if you have this any higher, it's gonna print out like really quickly. So maybe you want that for your game, maybe you don't. I don't know. But okay, now we need, and we're just gonna call this once again dialogue. I have my jacket is getting in the way. It's pretty cold right now. It was burning hot yesterday, and then today it's like freezing cold, and I'm wearing a jacket. And the sleeves keep getting in the way. Dialogue, I guess, setup. You know, I'm not that great with naming things. This is going to be dialogue struct, so we will search that. Here we are, and oh, here. That's why it wasn't coming up. Now, usually I would give this a tooltip, but the only one I think, well, you know what? No, I don't. I think I can pretty much, you or me can pretty much figure out what these mean without, you know, needing a tooltip. It's a good idea too, but I'm not going to. But really quickly, this needs to be an array. Go ahead and save that. And whoops, I keep doing it. It's right here. Really quickly. So we have name, text color, image, event. Okay, so that looks good. I think that's about everything. And make sure it's clear. You want to have this empty. Now I think we can close everything out except for that. Leave that for right now. Last thing is a data table, and you're going to want to make this data table. The very first time I did this, I made this an expose on spawn array, and like if I wanted to add dialogue, it got really big. And then if you want to be able to change it later on, you won't have to track down where you have that, you know, create a widget event. So this will, you know, save you a headache. The only thing is I'm not really sure where it is. I think in miscellaneous. Yeah, here it is, right here. And we're going to pick main dialog struct. So make sure you pick that one. Hit OK, and we're just going to call this, once again, dialog DT for data table. And we'll open this up. We will add one really quickly, and I'm just going to call this test. And we have, you know, play speed, delay. That, that's not good. That needs to be a float. Hope this doesn't break anything. So far, no errors. I know I've gone back and changed it, and then it gave me a compile error. But I guess everything's okay. All right. And okay. Actually, really quickly, can fast forward. We should default that to true, just that way we don't forget and accidentally soft lock the game. So I believe that is everything. I'm going to get back to this really quickly, but right now I will just have one. I'll just put my name in there, and dialog will be just hello for right now, and hopefully, yeah, that's working. Okay. Really quickly, I will just I don't know, the brick wall, that should do. Call events, we'll have that note. Now now we can go ahead and we can set everything up. I'm thinking, no, never mind. Okay, forget what I said. But anyway, so what we want to do is drag off name and then do get data table row. And we'll plug this in. I wonder if you can. Oh, so you can. That's cool. Anyway, so we're going to search for that. That should be the only one that comes up. And we'll break it. And yeah, there we go. That is everything. So we'll plug. We're gonna collapse this into a function. Even though from what I've been told, you should only do functions if you plan on reusing it. But I usually do it to kind of clean things up. So I don't know if that's the right way to do it or not. But anyway, we're gonna just promote this into a variable. We'll call this, what else? Dialog struct. And I'm trying to think what else I need to do. We're not going to worry about this right now. I will get back to this, but let's go ahead. We'll collapse the function. I have a shortcut for F that collapses it into a function, so you can just left click and, wherever it is, somewhere there where it says collapse the function. But anyway, rename this really quickly to just, excuse me, to startup, I guess. Not good at naming things, but so we have that. And yes, I believe that is about it. Actually, okay, I'm gonna do this a little differently than normally I do it, but next we're gonna need a to set up a timer by event name. Oh, I guess it's called set timer by event name. And we're gonna need to make a custom event really quickly. Or actually, no, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Well, we are gonna need to make a custom event, which is gonna be event. We will call this what should I call this? I'm not really sure. This is kind of confusing. I know this isn't really much of a tutorial if I'm flying through it and not really explaining things, but I'm not that great at explaining things, and I'm kind of just hoping you just get it. You just understand what I'm doing. Sorry about that again, but we're already getting to 30 minutes. Oh, geez. Anyway, what should I name this? I gotta figure out a name for this. I guess print setup, or I guess just setup ramp. Darn it. Setup, just call it just setup, I guess. So we'll go back here and we will call setup. I'll probably change that name later. Like I said, I'm really bad at coming up with names. So we'll call setup, and what this is going to do, we're going to get the struct, we're going to break it, and what we're going to do is, what are we going to do? We'll get this, going to, I'm really sorry, guys. I'm trying to, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to have to cheat. Look up how I did this really quickly. And go here. And starts a dialogue. Yeah, and this is from like an actual game I'm working on, so you get to see some of the blueprints. Let me see here. Because I'm actually setting it up a little bit differently to be a little bit more optimized, I guess, because this is a little bit sloppy, but okay, now I know I know what we're doing now. So what we need to do is we need to get a copy of this, promote this to a variable, and we're going to call this current. I don't want to call this dialog again. Current. Oh, whatever. I guess I'll just. I can't think of any other name for this. Current dialog, and we will plug this in. By the way, there's going to be quite a few variables we're going to need to make. I forgot to mention that, but yeah. So, and I'm also going to hide these because we do not need them right now. What we're going to do is that, promote this to a variable. We're going to call this arrayGet, just because that's usually what I call them. So I'm going to do that, and geez, time is just flying by. We're going to get that. Actually, well, I guess what we can do really quickly, usually I do this last, but we're going to plug in a branch, and we're basically just going to check and see. Actually, really quickly, sorry about this, guys, but I'm going to do it in this function. We're going to break this, and we're going to get the length of this array, the length of it, and we're going to promote it to a variable. Array length. No. Geez, cannot spell. Did that backwards. There we go. Just double checking. Okay. So I want this to array, but this needs to be in this order, by the way. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. And I'm going to really quickly straighten these out, even though I think they're already straight. Well, never mind. I won't do that. It's going to act up on me. But okay. What we need to do is get the array length and the array get, and we need to check and see, is the array length greater than or equal to the array length? So if it's not, whoops, if it's not, well, oh my, come on, there we go. If it's not, then we're going to proceed with this, and we will worry about the true part of this later. But right now, we are just going to do this. Oops. If it's not, actually, if it's not, we're going to need to get the array gets really quickly. Oops, like I just hold control, and increment it really quickly. Which means we're going to need to set this to be -0, or I mean -0, -1. So yeah, don't forget to do that. Otherwise, you're going to be getting the wrong. The array is going to be basically out of sync. That's what it should be getting. Why is my mouse kind of lagging? Really annoying. And I will straighten this, and there we go. By the way, I have A set to alignment, straighten connections. See, so you can do that in the project settings. I mentioned this in another video, so I'm going to save this really quickly, close it, and I'm going to also close that. That's driving me nuts. Anyway, so now that we have that, we have the current dialog. What we're going to need to do is, by the way, I have the animations and everything. We're probably going to do that last, but yeah. What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get this name and the, I believe this, actually we'll do the image next. Player image, and we're also going to need this as well. I'm just doing this as a shortcut. You can come here and select it and then go back to the graph, and it automatically has it selected on the variables as a little shortcut. We're gonna hold off on the text block. So what we're going to do really quickly, and I might collapse this into a function, I'm not sure. We're going to set text. Set text. And you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna have to collapse this into a function. There's something a little bit special that I'm gonna show you towards the end as like a shortcut. You're not really gonna understand what I mean, but just go ahead and hold off. Your question shall be answered towards the end. So I'm going to name this. Just set. I don't know, text. Dude, I don't even know what to call this stuff. But anyway, for right now, make this a. We're going to come back and edit this later. But for right now, we're just going to have it like this. What we're going to do is we have this current dialog that we have as a variable. So we can. Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. So we will break this really quickly. And we need the name. We're going to plug name in, so it sets it to the name. And we're not interested in the dialog. We are in image, call event. We'll do that later. And emission speed, not interested in that right now. And yeah, we're also going to need text color as well. So I really wish that you would reorder this, but there's going to be a lot of crossed wires. But anyway, what we'll do is we will set image. I don't really remember what you call this, but I think it was set brush actually. Set brush, and then break this and size. Let me see, what size do I have this? Probably under brush 32 by 32. So yeah, just go ahead and leave this. I'm not really sure if this is 100% correct, but we are going to, you know what? Okay, never mind. I was like, okay, yeah, so we'll plug that in. I was basically worried that that image option wasn't there, so that maybe I was missing a step or something. We will plug that in, and there goes my mouse lagging again. I'm going to leave this out just in case, because there have been some pretty weird things that have happened if I don't have this, out in the struct, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that. Now, as for the text color, and you know what? I'll move this over so that way we don't have crossed wires. So what we'll do is take this and Control C, Control V. By the way, I'm going to save because I'm paranoid it's going to crash on me. So we will set text color. No, set background color? I always forget this. Well, we'll just do set color. It should come up. There we go. Color and opacity, I guess. And it would be really nice if I can just directly plug this in, but you cannot. You have to break it, and it has this color use rule. So it's kind of annoying, but go ahead and we will plug both of these in. If you want to have the name, if you also want to have the name change color, then you would plug it in. If you don't, then don't plug it in. So plug that in. Whoops, and it has to convert it, of course. More wires just makes a bigger mess. And there we go. Plug this in, bring this over. And we're going to come back to this, like I said earlier, and we're going to fix it up so that way we don't. I guess I could try and explain it right now, but if you're adding a bunch of dialogue, you're going to have to, like, if you want basically the same name, you're going to have to retype it in, and that's kind of annoying. Or, tedious, not really something you want to do, especially if you have like a huge dialogue. I'm going to delete this element if I can figure out how. So yeah. Basically just set it up so that way you don't have to keep retyping in the name. It'll check automatically to see if it's changed, and if it has, it will reset it. But if it hasn't changed, then it won't. So, but for right now, we're going to do that last. So set this up, and for some reason it's not lined correctly. Really quickly, now that we have these, now that I think about it, I'm set the text block. Set text. Whoops. Text really quickly. And 34 minutes. I was hoping I could do this in like 30 minutes, but apparently not. Jeez. Really sorry, guys. Really quickly, we're going to set this to fail to get row name. And 3 exclamation marks just because. And we're also going to need to straighten this and set its color to be, well, you don't have to do this part, but I usually do. And there goes my mouse lagging again. Jeez, that is driving me nuts. That is most interesting. Computer is lagging, jeez. I don't know why. Usually it does pretty good. This is actually a fairly decent laptop, so it shouldn't even do this. So I have to figure out why it's doing that. I don't see anything crazy eating up my CPU, so I don't know. Well, it went away, so just set this to be what else other than, well, what else would I set this to? Red. So, and that will do. Let's see, I wonder if it'll, yeah, there we go. Because I haven't, in the blueprint or the level blueprint, I haven't set the name to anything, so it's not going to work right now, but we will get back to that in a minute. So really quickly, I'm going to get a sip of water. Sip of water. Drink some water. But sip of water is just as funny. So what we need to do is, after we do this, I'm going to set timer by function name. You can use by it's straight again. Jeez. Objects. Why? That was really weird. Anyway, time. So we have this time. This is, and we're also going to need to have looping checked. But time, what it is no, that's not right. Actually, it's dialog structs. Split this. Actually, I'm gonna break this and play speed. We'll plug in play speed. That's basically why we had that. So, and delay on next, we'll worry about that later. But really quickly, I'm going to hide these other things we do not need right now. And the function name. Actually, we need to promote this to a variable as well because we are going to need it. We're actually going to need 2 of these, and it is not straightening. And there it goes again. I thought why is this not straightening? That's really weird. So function name, call this print text. I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and we will make a custom event. And there we go. Actually, really quickly, even before we do this, before we call this, I kind of forgot something. So on the current dialog, we're going to need is to break this once again. And we need the name, or I mean the dialog. We don't need the rest of this stuff, at least not right now. So what we're going to need to do is we basically have to convert each character into an array, so that way you can use a get node to basically give that printing animation or whatever you want to call it. Geez, we're already at 40 minutes. I was trying to keep this under like 30 minutes, but I guess I couldn't do it. It's blabbing too much. So anyway, we'll make this to a string. To string, text to string. And I'll move this way over here. We're going to need a lot of room. And straighten this. And we're going to need to, I believe it's called array from string. Yeah, phase array into string. Or no, I guess not. No, it's what was that called? Okay, get character array from string. Yes, that is correct. So we'll promote this into a variable, basically to help out on performance, so that way we're not basically grabbing this every single time we call this event. If you're not, that's basically what we're doing. So we will promote this into a variable. Call this, array text, and there's one more thing we need to do, and whatever. I'm just gonna leave it. It's gonna be crooked, whatever. Wants to fight me. Anyway, we're gonna also need to get the length of this. Also promote this to a variable, which is going to be array length. Actually, I already have one called length, but array, I guess text length. This might be a bit confusing. You can probably name these better and have it, more organized, but I'm, trying my best. So we'll move this over, bring this back over here, plug this in, regardless if it's crooked or not, and there we go. I feel like I'm forgetting something. You know what? Actually, sorta. This might not be the best spot, so I might have to move it. Basically, remember that call events we had? What we're going to need to do is break it and check and see if this call event. Now right now I'm just going to leave it like this for right now, and I will get back to it, but it's there for right now. And it's going to call an event dispatcher, and we will get into that later, but for right now I'm going to leave this at that. Now what we're going to do is this is I can't think of the words, but it's basically the meat and potatoes of how this, the printing system works. What we're going to do is get a git copy, and we're going to need another variable. Now, this is pretty cluttered, and normally I would organize this, but I'm not going to, so just be really careful and pay attention which integer variable it belongs to, because you see I have like 3, so just be careful so that you don't get confused and then cause problems. So we'll just do text array get. Now we're going to need another variable, and so what we're going to do is, well, this is a variable. It's going to be called just text. Hopefully, yeah, there we go. So there wasn't anything else called text. So what we're going to do is we're going to append. Basically, we're going to append what text already has and add to it, and that's basically how it works. And then we'll set it. This is basically how it works, just like that. And then what we're going to need to do is find that text box, and then set text. There we go. Just plug this in and plug this in. We'll get this knowing function. Well, not knowing function, but it's kind of ugly. I don't really like it. I wish there was a better way of doing this. Now, really quickly, let me open the blueprint level back up. I named this test. I believe I just called that test. Yeah, so compile, save everything. I could probably just hit save all, but okay, so now what we need to do is we need to come up with some texts that we can basically try out. I'm not really sure what I'm going to write, so I'm just going to jump on to the UE4 forums, or actually Wikipedia, and just grab some random text. Okay, so I'll just use this. We'll just use this and close this out, and we will paste. Whoops, my computer lagged there. That's annoying. And we'll just plug that in. And let's see, if I hit play, there it goes. Now there are obviously some problems. There's steps I forgot. First of all, we need to set this to auto wrap. If I can find it. Well, it's probably right there slapping me in the face, but I don't see it. But anyway, auto wrap, set that. Now this will kind of fix it, but you see, well, I guess that didn't fix it. Probably because there's no spaces in it. That might be why. I think indeed that is why. But what we need to do is really quickly start git. We need to increment this every. There goes my computer lagging again. Jeez. Why is it doing this to me? And by the way, I'm looking at the frame rate. Look, it's dropping like crazy. It's very scary because this is a $2,000 laptop, and it's not even that old, and it is starting to lag. And it's not like I have that many programs on it anyway. But anyway, back to UE4, and there we go. Now, basically got it set up. We even have the image working and everything. Whoops. Image working, and my mouse isn't being shown. Let me fix that really quickly. Really quickly, we will get the player controller. And set show mouse cursor to true. Then is it lagging? No, it's not. So I guess it's just lagging whenever it wants to, I guess. On our computer. So we'll plug that in, and we basically already have everything going. Now you might think that everything's okay. We can just continue off there, but there's a problem. What's happening is this timer is still being called. It's still going. It doesn't know it's finished yet. So what we actually need to do is move this really quickly. Basically the same thing as we have right here. So we'll quickly do a branch, plug this in, and on false we will increment this, and we will array get. Did I ever? I don't think I ever promoted that to a variable. You know what? Yeah, I did. Never mind. What am I thinking here? So we'll get the. So that's why you gotta, be organized. Otherwise, you'll end up like me. But anyway, so plug this in. We'll check and see if it's greater than. And if it's not, it's just gonna keep printing it. Now, but when it is, we want to get this timer, which is this timer right here. What we want to do is, let me just straighten that a little bit. Clear and invalidate timer. Now, really quickly, I'm going to demonstrate what is happening. So I'll have this print string right here, and it's going to keep printing it, and then when it's finished, it's going to stop. So there we go. So that way this event isn't being called anymore. And your game won't keep running the dialog or printing the dialog, even though it doesn't have to. So after that is complete, and my mouse is lagging again. I think that is about it for this part. Well, I don't. I'll do this as like a full. Who knows how long this is going to be? Probably a couple hours, but I do one giant video, and then if you guys, you want it to be short or just in parts, maybe like a 20-minute part, but then there'd be like 20 videos or something. I can do that, but I'd rather just do it all in one video. So, and if it's kind of long, just pause the video, just come back to it later and finish it up, all that stuff. Anyway, what is next? Let's see here. So we clear it. Okay, what we need to do is array get. Really quickly, I'm going to set it to be 0. We're also going to set this text to be nothing. So that won't break anything. Everything will work just fine. And by the way, I completely copied that from the website, so I noticed that together is missing an R. So don't blame that on me. I'll go ahead and fix that right now. Okay, so actually, no, never mind. But so we have this, and what we need to do is check and see if we are on autoplay. Whoops, that's not it. Get this. We'll do a branch, and once again, my computer is lagging. Jeez. I have no idea why. It's driving me nuts. But if we're on autoplay, what we're going to do is we're going to get the current or the dialog struct, break it, and we have this delay on next, which hopefully I defaulted that to be 1, which I did not. So let's hope we don't get any errors. Okay, yeah, no errors. Get rid of this. We're only looking for delay on next. So if it is autoplay, I think I can just use a delay. I remember there was a problem, so we'll have to get back to this. But if it is delay next, then what we're going to do is we're going to call this setup, and everything's going to run again, and it will loop until we're on the last index in the array. So we'll call setup again. But right now, so if it is really quickly, I'm just going to have it remove from parent. Remove from parent. There we go. Just for right now. We'll play it, and it should destroy itself. And it did not. Oh well, let me check that. That might help. And there it goes. It didn't really destroy itself. That is interesting. That is most interesting. Probably I'm gonna have to do really quickly. I'm gonna actually do a print string really quickly, so it shouldn't get called again, which it did. So yeah, here we have a problem here. Something is wrong. So I think maybe I should do really quickly a less than 1. Plug that in. That might be the problem. And yeah, that was okay. So we had to do a subtraction because it's not, array length isn't 0 based, and the array is. So, well, length is basically just returning how many is in the array. So, which I don't remember even, which I probably should fix this here, but I'm not going to. I'll just whatever. So if you want to fix it, go ahead, but I'm not going to, unless it causes a problem. But anyway, so we have delay next if autoplay is true. Now, really quickly, I'm going to set up. I'm going to add a new graph. I'm going to call this input, and this is basically for doing input. If you have autoplay off and you want the player to be able to scroll through it or read through it, I guess. So really quickly, what we're going to do is I'm going to create a macro. It's going to be called check input, I guess. Check input. And why did I press I? Okay, check input. This is basically I'm just going to check for input exactly as it says. But really quickly, actually what we need to do is, while we're checking this, unfortunately you can't turn tick off, which I would recommend doing, but so we're only going to do this if autoplay is false. So just plug this in. We're going to rename this tick. This one, I don't think I'm going to need an output, but I will put one anyway to be safe. So what we're going to do is get player controller. Now normally I would promote this into a variable, which, you know what, I'll go ahead and do that. I will go ahead and do that. Promote to variable, just call it PC. Basically, this is a little bit of a performance gain, so it's not constantly casting and getting the reference. And basically, mainly so that way we don't have a bunch of crossed wires in here, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. With the player controller, to I believe was just press. There we go. So we're going to do this 3 times for 3 different things. And we're going to need a giant or. And if it so happens to be true, we will call an event, which we're going to set up in a minute. But for right now, actually, I don't even need that output. I'm going to go ahead and just, well, I'll put a sequence. I have a feeling I might need to plug something into it later on. So I'll go ahead and just plug this in, just in case. And there goes the frame rate again. I don't know what is causing this. Anyway. Usually when I record it doesn't cause any problems like at all, so I honestly do not know what's going on with my computer, but so the keys we're gonna have to do are There it goes again. Caught it lagging again on me. Caught my computer sleeping. So we're going to use the Enter key. Use whatever keys you want, but this is basically they press the button if you want to go to the next text, or to basically speed up, which that's also something else. I actually should have did it in the struct, but I didn't. But anyway, so if you want to have a controller or gamepad, whatever, make sure it's face button bottom. If you want it to be X or A, depending on PS4 or Xbox controller. And the next thing or last thing would be left mouse button, if I can find it. Here it is. Okay, there we go. So I'll go ahead and set that up. And we're going to have an event that's going to call, but for right now, I'm not going to. I'll plug that in later, but we'll go ahead and plug this in here. So for right now, and this is the tricky part. So if autoplay is false, what we need to do is another timer. I'm going to do event name, or by event. And I will make custom event and just call this next. Time is going to be, once again, delay on next. And I normally wouldn't plug it in like this because it's a mess, but right now this will just have to do. I'll bring this over. I'm trying to organize this out a little bit. And looping should be false, and we're also going to need to promote this into a variable. Going to be next timer handle, but whatever. Anyway, so if it's false, or I mean, yeah, if autoplay is on false, which basically means you want the player to be able to you want him to be manually to be able to go through it. And if you don't want it, it's basically if you just want some dialogue to play out while the character is running around doing whatever. At least that's how I imagine it. But really quickly, I'm going to need to really quickly check something. And yeah, we'll set this on canvas word. Which actually, you know what, I'm going to leave that out. I know I just set that up and everything, but I'm going to leave it out because I'm thinking that that's going to cause a problem if I have it on false. I'm not even sure why I put that there, but I did. Actually, you know what? I guess I'll get back to it. But anyway, so we'll do next. Basically, what this is going to do is we're just going to make a quick boolean or a variable called text finished. Make that into a boolean. Whoops. Compile it. We'll set this to be true. And it should be false by default. Okay, yes it is. So that's basically, we have the next, which is true. And then we're going to need to call another event. But, geez, now I'm getting a little bit confused here. Let me just check something really quickly. Okay, well, I'm really considering pausing it and getting back to the second part. You know what? I will go ahead and do that. So right now we have this set up. There's nothing going on. I don't have, or I have autoplay on, so it's basically just going to destroy itself. You know, I showed you how to set up the dialogue, and I'm going to go ahead and just pause it. It's been an hour. That's kind of long, and I got to sit down and remember how I set this up. So I'll go ahead and. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in part 2.